The aim of the project was to aesthetically represent the dynamic model for the group of target users. We chose to represent finite state machines using a video tutorial, which used a 3D game which we developed in Kodu. Finite state machine is a mathematical model used to design computer programs and digital logics. It is conceived as an abstract machine that can be in one of the finite number of states at a given time. The state it is in at any given time is called a current state. It can change from one state to another by an initiated trigger or event or condition. This is called a transition. For project 4, we had a requirement of making a 3D video tutorial. For that, we used Kodu Game Lab so that we could make a 3D game and then we could make a video tutorial for a finite state machine. The game that we have implemented in Kodu is a normal 3D game in which the objective of the game is to earn points by killing fishes and turtles generated in the game at a particular interval, which is set by using a timer. As you can see, this is the edit mode of Kodu Game Maker, in which we have different objects such as this turtle, this fish and the Kodu itself, which plays the main role of the character in the game. As we can see here, we have paths in which the fishes will move. We can define paths for objects in which the object when created will move on the same path, on that very path. We also have rocks which I created just because to create an instance of an object at a particular interval as set by the programmer. As here we see for this rock, when we see the program of this rock, we see that we have created a timer for which if after every 10 seconds a create option will take place, and for that create option a turtle will be created. For that we have created a creatable turtle which will not be seen on the screen until it is created. We have also created a virtual score in yellow paint so that when a turtle is created, the score gets increased by 1. But when the score increases over 10, the game will end. So as because the Kodu was not able to kill the turtles and the population of turtles increased over a limit and it reached 10, so the game has ended. Likewise, in the game we have created several other objects such as this fish which will be created after every 4 seconds and this turtle which will be created after every 20 seconds. This is a tree which will act as a wall when the turtle hits the Kodu. Also, as you can see, I have implemented this in 3D as the water ripples you can see here, and also the instances that I have created here are all in 3D. The main aim of the game was to teach the user or the target user what a finite state machine is. So we have used this game in the video tutorial because we have designed 6 states for this game, namely idle, moving, chase, war, lower health and death. Now we will see all the states by playing the game. This is the main game. Now our main character is not moving, so it's in the idle state. But when I start moving the character by pressing the arrow key, it starts moving, and this changes the state from idle to moving. Now if I chase a fish by pressing the arrow keys, and if I am chasing the fish, then the state changes from moving to chase. Now after the chasing state, if I press space key, then the character starts throwing missiles on the characters like fish and turtle to kill them. We also see that the turtle is continuously killing us by throwing missiles on us, which lowers our health. So this was the war state when I was pressing the space key and the missiles were thrown on the fishes. Whenever I got hit by the missiles thrown by the turtle, my health degraded. So the state changed from the war state to the lower health state, by which was switchable between the two states, because when I was throwing the missiles I was in the war state, and when the turtle's missiles were hitting me I was in the lower health state. When in the lower health state and my health decreased to 0, I had a condition that if my health is 0, Now then the game will be over, or the state will move from lower health state to the death state. This means that the game will be over. In this video tutorial, we first play the game and then we try to relate the instances of the game to various events, and then have implied to make a finite state machine of the game. This is the finite state machine that we have created for the game. As we saw that when the game started and the player was in the idle state, or the player was stationary, or when no input was given by the keyboard, the player was in the idle state. When we press the up key, the player started moving. Now in this state we see that when the input is lost, or when we press no key on the keyboard, then the player again becomes stationary, which means that it again goes into the idle state. We can also see that when the player was moving and when it started following a fish to kill it, then it moved into the chasing state, which was moving towards the target by pressing the keys in a particular direction. Again, when the input was lost, the idle state was again reachable from the chase state also. We also see that the war state was reachable from idle state, the moving state and the chase state, because it wanted only one input, that was the spacebar. Whenever the spacebar was pressed, the missile were launched to kill the turtles or the fishes. Whenever a missile launched by the turtle hit the Kodu or the main character of the game, then it moved into the lower health state. But the lower health state and the war state were kind of switching between each other, because whenever the main character was launching a missile, it was in the war state, and whenever the missile launched by the turtle was hitting the character, it was in the lower health state. Then we put a if health condition, like if the health became 0, then it moved to the death state, which was the final state of the game, and the game ended.